Blessings to all our Blessed Ones family. Are you ready to find out epic speeches by women? Okay, grab onto your phone, turn up your volume, focus tight, and enjoy this fun, empowering video we created for your enjoyment. Our number one goal is to expand your knowledge. Okay, here we go. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you join the family so you don't miss any of the fun content we make for your empowerment. Also, don't forget to smash that like button and post our videos to your social media. Your friends will thank you for it.
I always understood that there really was no difference between me and the audience. At times, I might have had better shoes, but at the core of what really matters, that we are the same. And you know how I know that? Because all of us are seeking the same thing. And we'll go out into the world and each pursue based upon what you believe your talents are, what your skills are, maybe your gifts are, but you're seeking the same thing. Everybody wants to fulfill the highest, truest expression of yourself as a human being. That's what you're looking for, the highest expression of yourself as a human being. And because I understand that if you're working in a bakery and that's where you want to be, and that may be what you've always wanted to do, is to bake pies for people or bake cakes for people or to offer your gift, then that's for you. And there's no difference between you and me, except that's your platform. That's your show every day. So my understanding of that has allowed me to reach everyone. To reach everyone. And there's no way that you wouldn't, because that's what I truly feel. The way through the challenge is to get still and ask yourself, what is the next right move? Not think about, I got all of this stuff. What is the next right move? And then from that space, make the next right move and the next right move. And not to be overwhelmed by it, because you know your life is bigger than that one moment. You know you're not defined by what somebody says is a failure for you, because failure is just there to point you in a different direction.
When you are struggling and you start thinking about giving up, I want you to remember something that my husband and I have talked about since we first started this journey nearly a decade ago. Something that has carried us through every moment in this White House and every moment of our lives. And that is the power of hope. The belief that something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it. It is our fundamental belief in the power of hope that has allowed us to rise above the voices of doubt and division, of anger and fear that we have faced in our own lives and in the life of this country. Our hope that if we work hard enough and believe in ourselves, then we can be whatever we dream, regardless of the limitations that others may place on us. The hope that when people see us for who we truly are, maybe, just maybe, they too will be inspired to rise to their best possible selves. Shoot, it's the hope of my folks like my dad. Got up every day, do his job at the city water plant. The hope that one day his kids would go to college and have opportunities he never dreamed of. That's the kind of hope that every single one of us, politicians, parents, preachers, all of us, need to be providing for our young people, because that is what moves this country forward every single day.
I was reading something the other day about like all these stories like Michael Jordan or different people where it's like he got cut from his varsity basketball team, or all the stories of people who got turned down the first time, and that there's this idea that Michael Jordan, like that the guy got it wrong, that his coach got it wrong, or that with my first book, like the publishing world got it wrong. No,
you weren't good enough.
I wasn't good enough yet. I wasn't good enough yet, and he wasn't good enough yet, and we had to keep doing the work to get to a place where we could be here. And that's the thing that I think people miss, is like, you have to keep going. You don't even know who you're gonna be. You don't know who you're gonna be half a decade from now or 10 years from now, because you stopped. Like, why am I successful and other people who want the same things and started at the same time aren't? Because when they heard no, they listened. I just kept going.
You don't have to be broke. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to be sad and sorry. You don't have to take care of everybody just because you've always done it. Be willing to do a new thing and a new way. And sometimes you're going to have to piss people off in the process. Sometimes. Because people will hold you to your limitation. They will hold you to what they believe to be true about you. Spiritual code of conduct said, do not believe that because it hasn't happened, it won't happen. Renew, recharge your vision. And do not be tricked into thinking that because it's always happened, it has to continue to happen. Spiritual code of conduct says, do not accept the unacceptable. Do not accommodate and tolerate what doesn't honor you.
You are the hero of your own story, and heroes never give up. But have you ever thought of the word hero? What is the true definition of a hero? Today I'll tell you that how I perceive this word hero in my head and in my heart. To me, a hero is somebody who does not believe in giving up, someone who believes in self-analysis. To me, hero doesn't have a gender, someone who wants to improve every single day, someone who chooses to work on him or herself every day to become a better person, an empath. A person who feels the pain for others. To me, that person is a hero. Hero is someone who believes that without major losses, there are no major gains. A hero is someone who lives his or her life to the fullest and tries to reach out to people as much as possible. To me, hero is someone who accepts the flaws and tries to improve every day. A hero is somebody who doesn't have time to judge other people. So if you think that you have all these qualities, yes, you are the superhero of your own story. So be strong enough and bold enough to write your own history, and always remember, you are your own hero.
As far as I know, I'm just a committed and even stubborn person who wants to see every child getting quality education, who wants to see women having equal rights, and who wants peace in every corner of the world. Education is one of the blessings of life and one of its necessities. That has been my experience during the 17 years of my life. In my paradise home, Swat, I always loved learning and discovering new things. I remember when my friends and I would decorate our hands with henna on special occasions. And instead of drawing flowers and patrons, we would paint our hands with mathematical formulas and equations. We had a thirst for education because our future was right there in that classroom. We would sit and learn and read together. We loved to wear neat and tidy school uniforms. And we would sit there with big dreams in our eyes. We wanted to make our parents proud and prove that we could also excel in our studies and achieve those goals which some people think only boys can.
It's often said that change starts small. But the truth is, change also starts young. Before Mandela was Mandela, and before Malala was Malala, they were just young people working to make the lives better for people in their own communities. So it makes sense. That's where we're going to find the next Mandela and the next Malala too. Earlier this morning, Bill explained why we believe that poverty is not inevitable. He also explained why current demographic challenges require us to work much harder now to fix it. If we commit to ensuring that these young people have access to education, health care, jobs, then instead of getting trapped into a cycle of poverty, they will have everything they need to break out of that cycle for good. That version of the future is exactly what the Sustainable Development Goals were designed to create. And now, more than ever, leaders in my generation need to recognize that the leaders in the next generation are essential to delivering on those goals.
I think there is a real joy in being useful and believing in other people and trying to fight on their behalf and make things better. There's a real joy in it. It's not out of, and Louis and I think shared that, him certainly on a very different scale, but this idea that helping others it's not out of pity or charity, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be able to be a part of other people's lives and to work with them. And when you see people overcoming things and surviving against all odds, you're impressed and inspired by them. It's not, it's something that fills you and makes you full of happiness and joy, and he had that joy.
As you may know, the entire world operates on a universal law. entropy, the second law of thermodynamics. Entropy means that everything in the world, everything is in a state of decline and decay, the arch. There's only one exception to this universal law, and that is the human spirit, which can continue to evolve upwards, the staircase, bringing us into wholeness, authenticity, and wisdom. And here's an example of what I mean. This upward ascension can happen even in the face of extreme physical challenges. Now, we're all born with spirit, all of us, but sometimes it gets tamped down beneath the challenges of life, violence, abuse, neglect. Perhaps our parents suffered from depression. Perhaps they weren't able to love us beyond how we performed in the world. Perhaps we still suffer from a psychic pain, a wound. And I realized that in order to know where I was going, I had to know where I'd been. And so I went back and I studied my first 2 acts, trying to see who I was then, who I really was, not who my parents or other people told me I was or treated me like I was, but who was I? Life. You may discover, as I did, that a lot of things that you used to think were your fault, a lot of things that you used to think about yourself, really had nothing to do with you. It wasn't your fault. You're just fine. And you're able to go back and forgive them and forgive yourself.
I'm the kind of person that believes you should always make decisions with your heart and soul. You can use your brain for math. You can use your brain to look at the fine print in a contract. But when it comes to the actual feel of the decision, you always want to go inward and check it against your heart and soul. How do you do that? Here's the simple test. Does the decision that you're about to make expand you, expand your future, or expand the possibilities of your life? If the answer is yes, then the decision is yes, no matter how terrifying it is. If you conversely look at the choice that you have to make, and the decision will shrink you, will silence you, will inhibit you in some way, then the answer is no. No matter how easy the decision is, no matter how safe the decision is, the answer is no. Now, one of the things I want to point out that when you start to use this, does it expand or does it shrink me? Does it open possibilities or does it keep things closed? Does it raise my voice or does it silence me, right? Sometimes it's terrifying. So brace for impact, but make the decision anyway. Because the long-term impact of making a decision from your heart and soul, that is where the best life comes from. Because you're living for what's true for you, not what's safe in the moment.
You've already demonstrated the character and courage that will help you navigate this tumultuous moment. And most of all, you've demonstrated resilience. Now that's a word that's been on my mind a lot recently. One of my personal heroes, Eleanor Roosevelt, said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along." Well, that's resilience. And it's so important because everyone gets knocked down. What matters is whether you get back up and keep going. This may be hard for a group of Yale's soon-to-be graduates to accept, but yes, you will make mistakes in life. You will even fail. It happens to all of us, no matter how qualified or capable we are. Take it from me. Oh, I remember those first months after that 2016 election were not easy. We all had our own methods of coping. And I find hope in the wave of women running for office and winning, and hope in the women and men who are dismantling the notion that women should have to endure harassment and violence as a part of our lives. So we have a long way to go. There are many fights to fight, and more seem to arise every day. It will take work to keep up the pressure, to stay vigilant, to neither close our eyes nor numb our hearts or throw up our hands and say, someone else take over from here. Because at this moment in our history, our country depends on every citizen believing in the power of their actions, even when that power is invisible and their efforts feel like an uphill battle.
Thank you for watching, subscribing, and liking our content. Stay blessed, my brothers and sisters.